Alrighty, so here's how the combo works. It has two very important cards. It has Faeburrow Elder and Gauntlets of Light. Faeburrow Elder is a 3-cost 0/0 with Vigilance, and it gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. Then you can tap it, and for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of any color. Now remember, this thing is already 2 colors, so when you play this thing naturally taps for 2. One issue with this is that it's a very high target because it generates 2 mana, and then it generates 3 and 4, so it's kind of crazy. Then, of course, you're going to equip Gauntlets of Light, which have the ability, pay 3, untap this creature. So in order to actually get this combo to work, you need to have 4 colors. You have to have 4 out of 5 colors. And to make this deck have a little bit more sense to it, I actually made this deck 5 colors. And so your goal is to get out at least 4 colored permanents and those pieces, and then something to dump your mana into, because that's really important. You can generate all the mana you want, and if you don't have anything to put it into, you can't do anything. So I'm going to flash up a couple examples of cards you can just dump mana into to win the game. And yeah, that's basically how the combo works. Why don't we look at a brief little demonstration of how it works. Alrighty, so I put together a little animation for you just so you can take a look. So I'm going to put a bunch of things on the board. Boom, you have all your combo pieces you need. You pay 3 to play Gauntlet of Light, equip it to Faeburrow Elder. Then you tap it and it adds 4 mana. Then you spend 3 of that mana to untap it using Gauntlet of Light. Then you can keep doing that while the amount of red mana expands infinitely, and then you can cast something like Electromance in your hand for X equals basically unlimited. In Paper Magic, as soon as you start an infinite loop, you can just say, I would like to repeat this loop 1,000 times. However, in Digital Magic, you do have to go through that loop every single time. And we're going to see that here in a gameplay example in just a second. Alright, so now we're in MTG Arena, and we're going to get to play this. So you'll notice that I'm going to show you the whole game, but the first part of the game I'm not really going to explain it that much. So this deck, first off, the deck list is in the description down below, is not finalized in any way. This deck is not good, it is not remotely good, it is just to showcase this infinite combo. And so a lot of the deck consists of, well, lots of different colored permanents as well as fetching cards. For instance, my choice of blue permanent was Fibblethip, because he draws me a card and counts as a blue permanent. My choice of black permanent was Knight of the Ebon Legion, which you can see on the board right here, because it also is a win con, because technically you can dump infinite mana into it to get infinite damage. So, you know, different reasons like that. I don't need a white or green one, because in order for me to actually care about that, I need to have the white-green mana producer anyways. So you'll notice here, I'm actually very close to getting the infinite combo. I just need another color permanent, and I decided to bounce that back to hand, and basically this is just all setting up for the big thing at the end. I think with a little bit more refinement, and maybe some wild cards, this deck could do well. However, with just the cards I had, plus, you know, 1 day of testing, so this deck definitely isn't refined, so I don't recommend you go out and spend a bunch of wild cards on it. But one thing to note is I did add a secondary win con to this deck, which I did end up winning with once, and the secondary win con is Happily Ever After, which says if you control 5 permanents of 5 different colors, you have more life than you started with, which is the hard part, but not impossible. And one other thing, it's have a bunch of different card types, which I do have, then you win the game. So it already kind of fit into the deck, so I added it, especially because it gains me 5 life, which this deck, you might notice, I get low on life. I guess it's only one game, but almost every game I get really low on life. And it's basically a race to, can they kill me before that? So you'll notice here, they are threatening lethal, I believe, right now, or close to it. And so I decide that I'm going to murder the 1/1, because that can deal a ton of damage with Concave Cavalier. Yeah. So this game ultimately was kind of close. You know, so I'm at 5 life here. But I do have everything I need. I do have a way to win with that Goblin Banneret in my hand. So I'm going to have to survive 2 more turns. So I decide I'm going to play Drawn from Dreams. So there's Happily Ever After. And here see, I don't have the ability to win the game here. And I'm doing 2 things here. First thing is I'm gaining enough mana to cast all the spells I want to cast. And then the second thing I'm doing is I am trying to get my opponent to realize I have infinite mana so they concede here, because I don't actually know if I'm going to win this. But, yes, I have infinite mana. One thing to note is you can get any color, because you can, but except for white. You cannot generate infinite white mana because you need 1 white mana to untap it. You can also, like you saw there, generate, you know, instead of all red, like I showed in the example, you could just generate a bunch of all the colors, so, except for white. So that's why I had to generate a bunch of mana before playing Happily Ever After, because that was going to use my 1 white mana. So at this point, he doesn't block, and this is where he's dead. So basically, I do this infinite mana trick. You'll notice that I am slowly accumulating mana above my head, and what this allows me to do is it allows me to pump up this Goblin Banneret up to a 25-1. And honestly, I mean, he saw everything on the board. He should have blocked. I decided to risk it because I knew I was basically dead next turn. So then I start doing it, and then I realized, oh no, I have to make sure I don't accidentally use my white mana, and I have to make sure that I have the red mana for it. It's not just 3 of mana of any color, so I do have to go up and get more red mana until I eventually boost him up all the way up to a 25-20 or 25-1, and I swing for the win. So that's kind of how this deck operates. You can win with Electro Dominance, but I think what's more interesting is not how you win, but how there's kind of a 2-card infinite mana combo in Standard. And I mean, it is 4 colors in order to actually do the combo. It can be, I have it as 5 colors, but also you only need 3 colors, and you can infinitely tap and untap that thing. So if you have something that's like whenever a creature you control becomes tapped, that also has a lot of potential here. I think it's a very strong combo. You don't like. I mean, it's very strong, and it uses strong cards. I think with a little bit of refinement, I don't think this will be like a meta deck at all, but I think it could work. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this actually more edited style compared to my last gameplay video's lack of editing or more casual style. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more Infinite Combos or more gameplay in general, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.